Hello everybody, welcome back for StarCraft 2 action. We are here with Harstem and his opponent, oh my god, Serral, in the bottom right on Abyssal Reef. This is the Homestory Cup 26 Group D. And this is a very pivotal match for Harstem especially, where he needs to win versus Serral to have any chance of making it out of this group. And of course Serral, he's probably gonna win all of his matches, so throwing here versus Harstem wouldn't be the end of the world, but not very in character, and that would make us doubt if he's going to win Homestory Cup this time around. Of course, this was with the new patch just released. And Serral going for a 15 hatch here into Overlord, into another extractor trick, into another drone. And then going to make a bunch of drones, get his gassing pool after that. Harstem going for a low ground wall here on Abyssal Reef. Now some of you obviously just want to see some more 2v2 action. And the Euthermal 2v2 circuit February edition has been announced. It will commence the February 8th. So if you want to watch it live on his Twitch, and I think Steadfast is also casting it live most likely, you can do that there afterwards. Hopefully I'll have access to some of the replays and do some replay casts for you guys. I have other commitments on that day, so I didn't really try to get involved with the live portion of it this time around. Ooh, Harstem actually puts his core outside of the... I think he still has space for another gate here, but this is funky positioning. Also doesn't really build a wall over here. So interesting to see. You can put a pylon here and a zealot as well. So he can kind of improvise a wall as he goes. Do you see a gas here? So no gasless, as you might see in Zerg versus Terran. Harstem gets a little scout off. Let's see. Yeah, sees the natural. That's about it. I mean, in the end, it is Serral, so you are kind of going to expect Serral to do a macro build, and you want to abuse it in some fashion as the Protoss player here. Goes for Stargate ASAP. Let's see if he goes for an Oracle. The routing of the Stargate does kind of suggest that it is going to be an Oracle that is going to go into the back of the natural and then into the main. Drone goes down to the third base location. And in the meanwhile, an Adept was chrono boosted across the map. The second one is running across as well. The probe is going home. We do see speed coming up for Serral. No additional gas, so definitely focused on the dronage here on the macro. 2 queens on the map, third one coming in. And we have 4 links here to deal with the Adept. 4 more links coming out as the second Adept is making its way across the map. Serral didn't really see that, but maybe he did see it and I didn't spot it. But usually, Zerg tries to see if Adepts are coming out and then he makes links accordingly. Now I don't see an Overlord in this area, but I guess if you have an Overlord over here and a Stalker comes out, you are pretty sad. But instead, Serral uses his Overlord to scout out the Stargate tech. And is going to start up his Spores. One in the main. And that's actually a little early. If you look at this Oracle, did he just start and restart? Oh no, it's the second one. Okay. Completely spacing out here. First Oracle going across the map, so this Spore's perfectly timed. We're not surprised. 2 queens trying to escort any of the drones that would be coming across the map and make the third base safe. Usually you see these Zergs over-saturating or super saturating the natural until the Oracle threat is gone and a Spore Crawler is up. And then you send about like 8, yeah, like this. You send a bunch of drones and you escort them with the queens, and then you just rally your hatchery to its own spot, so you don't have to send drones through this little corridor. If you watch the recent episode of Chaos Coaching from Lambo and Harstem on Lambo's YouTube channel, it happens in one of their episodes where Harstem just completely fumbles when it comes to rallying drones to the correct base, and that's really one of those small things that really separates the good Zerg players from the best players. Because, I mean, I've played StarCraft since 2010. I played Zerg almost for all of those years, and I don't rally my drones to their individual bases. I just rally all of the drones to the third base, and I just build a spore here. Or put all my queens here and then get abused in the third base by adepts. Like... Oh, Harstem has a bunch of adepts here. Does he have glaives? He does not have glaives. But there is a little threat here that he is posing in front of Serral's base. He's clearing creep for now, but a fourth base is going up, and adepts aren't good enough, probably, to take down this fourth base. We have a bunch of links. +1 is coming out for Serral, and a bunch more links are coming out. Now, these two oracles focusing on the queens. Remember, the queen count is relatively low. One of the oracles is pretty low as well. And all of the adepts now do get surrounded, and the links gobble them up. The oracle's not enough to protect the links like they usually do with the stalkers, because adepts can't fight away these queens. And it's only 2 oracles. Definitely a lot weaker than 3 oracles would have been. Look at this wall from Harstem. Kind of interesting. Where he can still move freely-ish between his third base and like this low ground location. Usually if you make like a wall here, or you make like one wall and then another wall here, it's like 2 walls, and Oracle or Archons always get stuck. Oh, here's the Space Whale again that we get stuck on sometimes in this particular map. Oh, this Blink Stalker doesn't get caught, but Harstem is pushing in the front as well. He clicks down a 5th base, doesn't quite click it down. Now the Link's almost on top of the Stalkers here. And a little bit of lag happening while this game was live, which sadly that's what this Homestory Cup will be known for, that the group stages were kind of plagued by those problems. 8 probes going down by a Link counterattack. Very nicely done by Serral, really punishing Harstem for these move outs. And not having a lot of units at home, not having a shield battery. If you have like 2 adepts and a shield battery here, maybe you don't take as much damage, but then also your push just isn't as potent. And at the back of that, Serral's going for Hydra range. He's getting the Lurker Den. He's getting a Hive. He already has an Infestation Pit. +2 melee coming, and 4 bases completely saturated. 67, 76, 87, 78, 78. Sorry, numbers go the other way around in Dutch, so it's a little... yeah, we say 7 and 20, not 27. If that makes sense. Because in Dutch it's 27, which translated is 7 and 20. But in English they say 27, which is completely the other way around. So if you have to say 69 or 96, it's kind of like... it breaks our brain a little bit. It's a very common mistake for us Dutch folk. These 2 oracles are still on the map, still alive, still gaining value, and we see Fleet Beacon transition for Harstem coming out here. Interested to see if he's going to go for +1 air as well, or if he wants to keep that in his back pocket, not reveal the fact that he's planning on transitioning into air pretty fast in this game. Number 1, we're seeing Sarnax Storm coming up as well. But High Templar already on the map, so Serral is going to see those. These links on hold position on top of the probes. If you don't hold position these links, they will start attacking the zealots. The links try and take down some of the High Templar. And Harstem just throws in the G to the G. And what caused that? Well, look at his supply. He just got completely found out. Probably his +1. We keep finding air units. Like, if I fully zoom out, we get these glitches because of stuff hanging in there, so sorry for that. But an Overseer completely scouted everything that Harstem was doing, and he was completely greeting it up with this Fleet Beacon second Stargate. And we see the Contaminate. There was an Overseer here just now. I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. It saw everything Harstem was doing, and he also just lost his High Templar. Like, he has one here, one of them died, and 2 of them became an Archon. So he has Storm, but he only has 1 Storm on this High Templar. If he uses the energy thing from the Nexus, sure, he has maybe 2 more Storms. But right now, well, he doesn't know, but Serral is running in with a bunch of Lurker, Hydra, Ling, and he's just going to crush Harstem. There's no way Harstem is going to keep this 4th base alive because he has no Storms. He has a decent army, but when it's not backed up by those 4 High Templar, it's going to be really rough. The probe count isn't amazing, and the one linchpin in Harstem's strategy here was revealed. And so, I mean, Serral can literally just throw down 2 Spires, throw down extra Evo, and go for like, oh no, you don't need any upgrades anymore for the, what's the thing called? Microbial Shroud? Like, it's not even a meme. You could just go Microbial Shroud here with Hydras if you feel like you can't afford the Spire Corruptor. But Serral can afford it, all right. He can also go Viper Hydra. Like, he can choose any which way to deal with the low amount of carriers, or Tempest, because nowadays Tempests are pretty good in the late game, to deal with Harstem. And I mean, Serral just gets the first dub in the bag, and we're going to go to a second game. And for game number 2, we'll load up into Ley Lines, a ladder edition, with Serral 1-0 up against Harstem. And this is the map with the rich geysers that are blocked by the minerals. And there's 4 of such bases on this map. Let's see what Harstem has in store here for game number 2. I think the pressure that he tried in game number 1 was pretty interesting, going for a couple of depths with 2 oracles, which I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, it does free up a bunch of gas to get some other upgrades going. But at the back of that pressure, he did lose all of the adepts, didn't really get any damage done, and also lost a bunch of probes in his own 3rd base. And from there, just kind of started spiraling down. He tried to go for a cool tech option, or like techie strategy, where he went for Storm to defend into straight air and try to play the late game against Serral, but got completely scouted out, also lost his High Templar and lost more probes. And that was just a GG moment. Serral going for gas before pool, so he's going to have very fast speed here. Which, against Protoss, you don't need the super fast speed. Like, it's nice against certain adepts. Like, if somebody is like a Protoss that goes for double gate, chrono boosting out multiple adepts, which nowadays isn't super common anymore. But I remember, like, when Arena was still in the map pool, you know? Like, that is when double gate adept was scary, dude. Like, I don't know if anybody remembers when Legacy of the Void just came out, but adepts just broke Zerg players' minds. They were like, huh? But the adept is over there, and then he's over there. What do I do? It's so funny, because you're just like, this unit is broken. It's at two places at the same time. And like, he can choose which way he's gonna go. He can cancel the shade. It's like a creep tumor of old. You can place the creep tumor, but you can cancel it and then place it again and cancel it again. And we removed that out of the game, so the Zergs were like, that's not possible anymore. It's been patched out. And suddenly the adepts can actually do that. I think back then the creep tumors were also still able to be cancelled, but you get what I mean. The poor Zerg players. Now, if you're enjoying StarCraft 2 action and you'd like to hear me cast some more, be sure you subscribe to the channel, help me get that number go up. Or, you know, just share it with a friend would also be appreciated. For now, we get some StarCraft 2 from the Homestory Cup. Slightly older games, but they'll tide us over into some more 2v2 action, which honestly, I'm quite excited for that. See how that 2v2 meta will develop. Some people might actually start taking it seriously. Oh, this probe wants to get to a 3rd base, but Adept had a large meal the night before. 3rd base now goes down, 320, nice timing. And a Stargate goes down. Oracle gets chrono boosted out, and this Overlord is ready to spot it. We have 2 Adepts here for Harstem, and he gets his Adept in a nice little nook and cranny. Probe helps to block. Hold position probe is a very low priority for attacking units. So if you A-move lings here, they try to get to the Adept, but the probe and the mineral patch will block out most of the lings. And so they'll just kind of like try to get to the Adept, but never get there, and they won't ever attack the probe because it's so low priority when they are in hold position. It's kind of, you see it happen a lot with Terran when they all in with SCVs, and the opposing side has a bunch of Zealots. Then they'll hold position their SCVs, and it's kind of like a force field. And the Zealots will just kind of like derp around. They'll try to get to the Marines that are consistently shooting them like mosquitoes. And they'll completely like tunnel vision on those Marines and completely ignore the SCVs, but they'll make them get stuck. Now Harstem is getting Twilight Tech here. Let's see, Serral hasn't directly scouted it just yet. And we see 4 gateways out of Harstem here. How many oracles are on the map? Only the 1. I like that he's changing it up a little. So he showed 2 oracles in the last game. Already showing him that I might not do 3 oracle every game. Roach Warren going down for Serral. Does he have a lair? Just getting the lair started, which is a nice timing. Almost has his 3rd base saturated. And as you can see, rallying into his natural, which kind of is a nice way to guide your own gas timings. As soon as this base starts overflowing on the minerals, you just take another gas. 1 Overlord does go down. Serral gets a supply block just a little bit. Serral, supposed to be world class. You're the one that beat the Koreans into the ground, or at least our first world champion that won versus a Korean. Neeb, of course, went over and beat the Koreans on Korean soil the first time, which I think to date Serral has never done. There's never really been an incentive for him to go to Korea. There's not like big money there or anything. And of course Raynor did go there. Picked up a gnarly League of Legends habit. Lol. I think I'm just gonna quote Rotterdam on that. This guy has played more StarCraft than any of us in our lives, somehow. And he's really good. And as long as he is still really good, like, a couple of days in League of Legends aren't going to change that. Ooh, Stasis Ward gets a lot of lings here, and Harstem actually kind of force fields himself out. Has to use Blink here to get into the 3rd base, and he's putting on a whole lot of pressure with these Stalkers. And a lot of lings here. Nice trades for Harstem, but this Stasis Ward is going to run out, and now this Stalker completely dead right away. Bunch of roaches as well. Look at Serral's supply count right now. On the workers especially. Harstem forcing a lot of units out of Serral. Really nicely done. Ooh, these Zealots come off their defensive position, but they get tricked a little bit. Ooh, and Harstem's still trading at the front here. Very nicely done. Does lose a couple Stalkers, and now has to blink back. More lings come in. This Oracle is going to try and defend his buddies here, but ooh, Oracle doesn't quite click down the lings. And a lot of Stalkers do go down in the end there. I don't know. If we did have a recall, maybe he could have recalled there. Just a little bit of mismanagement there by Harstem. But he's taken a nice lead. Serral did boost up his economy with 20 more drones there. The Larva mechanic coming in clutch. And now Serral, with his lings and roaches, can start moving across the map, forcing a response here out of Harstem, who doesn't have Storm, doesn't have Charge, doesn't have +1. But he does have his army ready on top of this ramp. We do see a 4th base coming out as well. Serral is taking a 5th, completely ignoring this rich geyser base. It is kind of hard to defend with your opponent standing below the... yeah, on the low ground, can just hit the mineral patches. Ooh, these roaches. Just forcing out a bunch of units here. Going back. Not a very committed attack by Serral. Behind it, though, he droned up to 85. And is now getting a hive, getting the lurker den, even getting a spine in a base. We have seen Harstem do a lot of those zombie run-bys. And, I mean, he already showed the slow zealots over here, so Serral just kind of knows it's coming. Spinecrawler is in position, and Spine can delay stuff like that. I know that back in the day when this was super popular, we would like build spines and then just wall them in with evos. Especially during the time when like the only way Protoss thought they could win the game was like by sniping your Greater Spire. If anybody remembers that, they would send in like 2 War Prisms to look for the Greater Spire and just put Zealots on top of it. And I remember labbing out how I wanted to like Sim City my first couple buildings, like my spawning pool and my hatchery, so that I could surround my Greater Spire with buildings. So I would take a hatchery and then put the pool like here, and then so you could put the spire and then an evo and then another evo. But I didn't want to block the larva, so on some maps you would do it differently. So you could also do it like with the gas or whatever. Especially because the first gas is usually mine out, so you'd like build the pool here, get the spire here, get like 2 evos, and just completely wall it in. I even thought of a way where if you uprooted a spine on the 4-hex and you would move command it into like a spawning pool hatchery area, which is somehow not completely a square, it's like there's a tiny bit of room here. And then if you would uproot the spine and keep move commanding it away, you could build a spire and then the spine would just block. So you could start rooting the spine if the pool or the evo chambers died. And the zealots would just kind of derp out because there's like an uprooted spine crawler there. Not worth the money at all. But in Wings of Liberty, we tried some wild shit. Talking about wild shit, Serral is running across the map, rooting his lurkers into the center area here for Harstem. His center base area. I used to call it center field, but I think center base is bit more applicable. The mommy ship is out here, but a lot of probes have died to these lings, and most of Harstem's army was here at the bottom, and these lurkers did a lot of damage. 12 probes go down, 70 probes remaining, and no front wall anymore. Would like to see Harstem re-wall over here. Just put a pylon, like 2 or 3 cannons, maybe a shield battery, just something to make the lurkers go like siege up here and not up here. Now, the lurkers are on the other side of the map. We do see good storms going down on top of them, but they do get a siege position in range of the 4th base. And all of the air units that you want to use to deal with this are in the natural, and all the ground units that you want to use to deal with the run-by are at the 4th base. Oh, a lot of units did just go down to all of the lurker spines. Oh, difficult position. And Harstem calls G to the G. Damn, that was a bit fast and anticlimactic at the end there. Serral just runs in, takes a monster position, and we talk about this a lot on this channel, where this position in between your bases is so crucial to defend. Like, just building a pylon here, or a pylon cannon, just to delay your opponent a little bit, or give you advance warning, I think is super important. Because when the lurkers are here, and your army is here, but they shoot down the like 2 units that are here, and then 20 lings run in and kill all your shit, and you can't run in, so either you recall to the main, which loses your recall, which means like half of the lurkers can uproot and run to the 4th base, and you just can't do anything. It's super, super difficult for the Protoss players, and especially like if you look at this wall of death. And Serral's economy, almost 100 drones, dude. Serral's just out of control in this game, and with a 1-2 punch, he kicks Harstem out of this game and severely destroys Harstem's chances of getting out of Group D. I think his chances are dead. We did see him play versus a laser and versus Serral, and he lost versus both. And I don't recall if we saw him versus Ryung. But if he did lose to Ryung, then he has completely zilch, not a 0 chances. I think if he won versus Ryung, wins everything else, and like a laser and Ryung kind of mess up, then maybe. But it would be a tiebreaker, but he didn't win a map for Serral here, so he'd have to win a map against a laser, which he didn't do. So I think he's like 99% out, which is rough. Didn't really get to see Harstem's intent in these games, because it seems like Harstem wants to go for this Tempest, Storm, Mothership late game style, where he gets a solid 4 bases, kind of like a Showtime. But Serral just kind of doesn't care. He's like, oh, you try to do something early, funky, funny business? I just defend it, and then I drone up, I get my army, and I kill you before you get to your army. And I mean, that's Serral for you. He's pretty good. And with that, that is this series. I hope to see you guys in the next video, where we're going to do a little bit more Homestory Cup Group D. Try and finish that out. I know that I'm boxing everything. I'm a gamer, all right. And I already told you when the 2v2 will be back on the menu, boys. But until then, I hope you have some fun watching the StarCraft 2 1v1 as well. Thank you so much for checking out this video, supporting the channel that way, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.